Hi folks, Puffiny Corny Puff here. Welcome back to Unicopia. This edition is about magic and specifically fairy magic. I'm a fairy witch, so thank you to the fairies for helping this magic succeed. Um, a spell to stop importing Russian oil. And so did this last night, happened today, so it can prove that this type of magic works. First, I want to give you just kind of a basic overview of how magic works, and specifically fairy magic. Um, Magic is the interconnection of everything. So uh, within interconnections, fairy magic is extremely universal and diverse. So it interconnects with everything that's already interconnected. So a good example is like in physics or science, the periodic table of the elements. All these elements are different, like different types of magic in the world. They're all different types of magic, but they all have electrons. Every element, every atom has electrons floating around. So the electrons are like fairies in the analogy. Although fairies are actually of all different sizes, they're not just all small. That's just a useful way for people to be able to think of things in an analogy. Anyway, um, you may or may not recognize your own fairy connections. We all have these fairy connections because, as I said, fairies are connected to everything. The more you recognize them, the more can happen with the fairies. So I feel like fairies are notorious for not wanting their secrets shared. I don't feel like I'm sharing fairy secrets. Let me know if I'm wrong. But I feel like uh, these are our secrets. These are our ways of being in better communion with the fairies and therefore having better magic and better lives because of it. Now, another analogy is if you believe in a goddess or a god or other types of spirit guides, other types of spiritual things, it's the same thing. Or even if you believe in your ancestors, it's the same thing in the sense of, or it's a good analogy, in the sense of, for instance, gods and goddesses. You might know some that you respond really strongly to. There might be others that you don't respond to yet, or you don't know. There's plenty that you don't know. There might be some that you will know in your life or in future lives. There might be some that you will know in the future that you don't know now. Um, for instance, with your ancestors, you may respond to, and think about ancestors that you know who have passed on, who've lived before you, and they're thinking about you. It's a mutual thing. But you don't even know many of your ancestors, besides the ones that you do know. There's so many more that you don't know. And that doesn't mean they're not thinking of you. And that doesn't mean you can't in some way think of them even if you don't know who they are. There's still a connection there. So that's the same thing with fairies. You may, like me, identify with fairies in a way that you're grateful to the fairy presence in your life and have sought out those connections. So it makes you feel more fairy yourself, just like we have different types of ancestors. So anyway, we all have these connections, and it's a matter of using them and making them. So one type of connection I like to make with fairies is through words. Obviously, as you see my videos. This will show you how you can do things to also change the world using just your phone or just your mouth or just a piece of paper. Because it can go from as secretive as you want. You can just write something down on a piece of paper, and this is just specifically for word magic. I mean, the same thing could be translated to other types of magic too, but you write something down on a piece of paper and burn it safely or bury it or hide it away where no one will see it, and it could be secret and no one could ever hear it, and it could just be words that are invoked into a piece of paper. Or it could be something like this, a video where you share these words with everybody in the world who cares to or chooses to gets to watch it. Or it could be something in the middle where you just say something aloud to yourself or to someone else, where you initiate a conversation. So what I did, and you can see on my video from a few videos down, or search it possibly, what I did was ask the question, why hasn't Joe Biden stopped buying Russian oil? If they've sanctioned all these other things to try to stop Putin's war against Ukraine, his genocidal invasion, his madman threats of nuclear attack. I mean, yeah, do whatever to stop him. And so they've done some other things, such as sanctioning every other part of the Russian economy, but they held off on the oil. Maybe as some type of, let him see how bad it's going to be to give him a chance, something like that. Maybe some type of reasoning behind it. But anyway, I was complaining about that last night, and I made a video about this. And as I was thinking about it, I was like, instead of going to sleep tonight, right now, I should go ahead and make this video. Because right now, this applies. He really should sanction the oil anytime now. But right now, the video applies. So I'm going to go ahead and say something about it while it still applies. And sure enough, within hours, Biden has canceled the oil. So sanction the Russian oil. So we're not buying Russian oil anymore. Hey, while I'm at it, arrest Trump. Arrest Putin's USA invader, Trump. While I'm at it, put Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill. It was only Trump racism that stopped that. You can do that with a phone call, Biden. Anyway, these are things, and I've said these things before, and they haven't come true. But the point I wanted to make and they will come true. I do think that when you say things that are true, that are part of the truth, well, you're sensing a truth that's emerging to be able to voice it, even if you're voicing it way early. The point is to say these things. When you see something, say something. When something's wrong, say something, point it out, voice your feeling of injustice or your hopes and dreams for greater justice or for greater prosperity or creative ideas for things. Voice those or express those, get those down onto some, in a drawing or whatever. Get them into the world in some way, and you'll see a magical reflection from the world that helps make what you say come true. Now, I happen to have this example. In the future, you won't be able to see very well unless you can see like a timestamp on my video, but it was, in the middle of last night, 3 o'clock in the morning, that I made the video about, it's technically March 8th, but we haven't banned the Russian oil yet. Well, now we have. It's later in the afternoon, March 8th. So I just wanted to point this out. You can tell by watching my old video that this is all true, but you can do it too. So thanks for watching and sharing. Good luck. Let's save the world together.